a teacup and a cup of tea? The difference between a
The
teacup
difference between
and a cup of
a
tea
teacup and a cup of tea
is that a teacup is
is
a
that
cup
a teacup
for tea,
is a is
cup
a cup for
for tea,
tea,
whereas a cup of tea is a cup
whereas a cup of
with
tea
tea in
is
it.
a cup with tea in it.
Very good. What's the difference between a matchbox and a box of matches? What's the difference between a matchbox and a box of matches? The difference between
The difference
a
between
matchbox and a
a
box
matchbox
of matches
and a box of matches
is that a matchbox is a
is that a
box
matchbox
for
is a
matches,
box for
whereas
matches,
a box of matches
whereas a box of
is a
matches
box with matches in it.
is a box with matches
Matches
in
in it.
it.
Very good. Is a girl male or female? Is a girl male or female? A girl is
A
female.
girl is female.
Who's your favorite male film star? Who's your favorite male film star? My favorite
My
male film
favorite
star
male film star
is.
is Tom Cruise.
And who's your favorite female film star? Who's your favorite female film star? My favorite
My
female
favorite
film star
female film star
is
is Penelope Cruz.
Penelope Cruz. Very good. Is it in the animal world, which is usually more colorful, the male or the female? In the animal world, which is usually more colorful, the male or the female? In the animal world,
In the animal
the
world,
male is usually
the, the male is
more
usually
colorful.
more colorful.
Very good. Okay. What do you think's the best way to deal with bad children? What do you think's the best way to deal with bad children? I think the best
I
way
think the best way
to deal with bad
to,
children
to deal with
with
bad children
is to send them to bed
is to send them to bed
early.
early.
Very good. Which would you say was the most profitable in business? To deal in cars or to deal in food? Which would you say were more profitable in business? To deal in cars or to deal in food? I'd say that
I'd
it
say
was more
that it was
profitable in
more
business to
profitable in
deal in
business to deal in a car
cars. Why? Why?
because
It's much more
because
expensive.
it's much more expensive.
Very good. Okay, next. Can you tell me the name of one of your local car dealers? Can you tell me the name of one of your local car dealers? Yes, I can
Yes,
tell you the
I
name
can tell you
of one
the
of
name
our
of
local
one of
car dealers.
our local car dealers.
Which one?
Toyota.
Toyota. Very good. What do we call the person who deals the cards in a game of poker? What do we call the person who deals the cards in a game of poker? We call the person who
We call the
deals the
person
cards
who deals the
in
cards
a game of poker,
in a game of poker,
the dealer or the banker.
the dealer or the banker.
Very good. What do we mean when we say we make a deal with someone? What do we mean when we say we make a deal with someone? When we say we
When we
make a
say
deal,
we
a, we
sorry,
make a deal with
we
someone,
make a deal with someone,
we mean we agree
we mean
to
we
give
agree
someone something in
to give
return
someone
for
something
something
in return
they will
for
give us,
something they will
give
give
us,
us,
or to do something for
or to
someone
do something
in
for someone
return for something
in return for
they
something
will do for us.
they will do for us.
Very good. What do the words or so mean? What do the words or so mean? The
Also,
words or so means
the
about.
words also mean about.
Very good. Give me an example. Give me an example, please. There were 35 people or
There were
so
35
at the
people or
party.
so at the party.
Very good. Okay. Do you think you could run a large factory, or don't you think you could even run a small coffee shop? Do you think you could run a large factory, or don't you think you could even run a small coffee shop? I think I could
I think
run a
I could
large
run
coffee shop.
a large coffee shop.
Very good. Okay, next. What words can we use when we want to emphasize the person who does the action in a particular sentence? What words can we use when we want to emphasize the person who does the action in a particular sentence? When we want to
When we want
emphasize the person
to emphasize
who
the
does
person
the action
who does the
in
action
a particular sentence,
in a particular
we can
sentence,
use myself,
we
yourself,
can use myself,
himself,
yourself,
etc.
himself, etc.
Very good. What do we call these words? What do we call these words? We call these words
We call these words
emphasizing pronouns.
emphasizing pronouns.
Very good. Give me three sentences containing emphasizing pronouns. Give me three sentences containing emphasizing pronouns, please. I remember it very
I
clearly
remember it very
because
clearly
I gave him the money
because I
myself.
gave him my uh,
The money myself.
the money myself.
People cannot usually
People cannot
repair laptops
usually repair laptops
themselves. They have to take
themselves.
them to a
They have
computer
to take
repair
them to a
center.
computer repair center.
She always drove the car
She
herself.
always drove the car herself.
Very good. Does someone else usually make breakfast for you or do you make it yourself? Does someone else usually make breakfast for you or do you make it yourself? I usually
S- I
make
usually
breakfast myself.
make breakfast myself.
Very good. Okay, next. What's the difference between these two sentences? He painted a house himself and he painted a house by himself. What's the difference between these two sentences? He painted a house himself and he painted a house by himself. The difference between
The
those
difference
two
between
sentences
those two
is that
sentences
the first
is that
sentence
the first
emphasizes
sentence
the fact
emphasizes
that he
the
painted the
fact that
house,
he
not
painted the
someone
house,
else.
not someone else.
Whereas the second
Whereas
sentence
the
means
second sentence
he
means
painted the house
he
alone
painted the house alone
without any help.
without any help.
Very good. Does this door shut by itself? Does this door shut by itself? Yes or no?
No,
That door
that door
doesn't shut by itself.
doesn't shut by itself.
Very good. Do students answer questions in these lessons by themselves? Do students answer questions in these lessons by themselves? No.
No,
Students don't answer
students
questions
don't answer
in
questions
these lessons
in these
by
lessons
themselves.
by
The
themselves.
teacher helps them to
The
answer.
teacher helps them to answer.
Very good. Okay, next. Have you ever been anywhere in the world that was so hot that you couldn't stand the heat? Have you ever been anywhere in the world that was so hot that you couldn't stand the heat? Yes or no?
No,
I've never been
I've
anywhere
never
in
been
the world
anywhere in the
that
world
was so hot
that was so
that
hot
I couldn't stand the heat.
that I couldn't stand the heat.
Very good. Give me an example of something that you can't stand. Give me an example of something that you
I,
can't stand, please. I can't stand
I can't stand
what
very cold weather.
very cold weather. Very good. Okay, next. What does the idiom get a move on mean? What does the idiom get a move on mean? The
Move on
idiom
mean.
get a
The
move
idiom
on means
get a move on means
hurry.
hurry.
Very good. Give me an example. Give me an example, please. If you get a move on,
If you if you get a
you
move
might
on,
finish that job
you you might finish that job
by the end of the day.
by the end of the day.
Very good. Okay, next. Discover. Okay, here we go. Are there any mountains in your country where snow settles on the top even in the middle of summer? Are there any mountains in your country where snow settles on the top even in the middle of summer? Yes or no?
No,
There aren't any
there
mountains
aren't any
in my
mountains
country
in my
where
country
snow settles on the top,
where snow settles on the top,
even in the middle of summer.
even in the middle of summer.
Very good. Okay. Next, would you find it difficult to settle in a foreign country forever? Would you find it difficult to settle in a foreign country forever? Yes or no?
Yes,
I'd find it difficult
I find it
to
difficult
settle in a
to
foreign
settle
country
in a
forever.
foreign country forever.
Why? Why? Because
Why?
they have
Because
a different
they have
culture.
a different culture.
Very good. Would you be surprised if you were walking across a park and a bird came and settled on your shoulder? Would you be surprised if you were walking across a park and a bird came and settled on your shoulder? Yes or no?
Yes,
I'd be surprised
I'd be
if I
surprised
were walking
if I were walking
across a park
across a park
and a bird came
and a bird
and
came
settled on my
and
shoulder.
settled on my shoulder.
Very good. If you couldn't settle your bill in a restaurant because you didn't have enough money with you, what would you do? If you couldn't settle your bill in a restaurant because you didn't have enough money with you, what would you do? If I couldn't settle
If I
my
couldn't settle
bill in a
my
restaurant
bill in a
because
restaurant
I didn't have
because I didn't
enough
have
money with me,
enough money with me,
I'd
I'd,
yeah, let's say I'd
I'd,
use a credit card.
yes, I use
A
credit
credit
card.
card. Very good. Okay. When you add sugar to a cup of coffee, what happens if you don't stir it? When you add sugar to a cup of coffee, what happens if you don't stir it? When you add sugar
When you add
to
sugar
a cup of coffee
to a cup of coffee
and don't stir it, the
and
sugar
don't stir
settles
it, the sugar
to the
settles
bottom of the cup.
to the bottom of the cup.
Very good. If two countries can't settle a political problem, where do they go in order to settle it? If two countries can't settle a political problem, where do they go in order to settle it? If two countries
If two
can't
countries
settle a political
can
problem,
settle a political
they
problem,
go to the
they
United
go
Nations
to the United
in
Nations
order to settle it.
in order to settle it.
Very good. What does a teacher say to pupils when they are making too much noise? What does a teacher say to pupils when they're making too much noise? A teacher says,
A teacher
come
says,
on now, settle down.
"Come on now, settle
To
down."
pupils
To
when
pupils
they are making too much
when they
noise.
are making too much noise.
Very good. If someone said that they were planning to go on holiday but that nothing had been settled yet, what would they think
Settle
they
it.
mean? If someone
They
said that
mean
they were planning to go on holiday but that nothing had been settled yet, what would they mean? If someone said
if someone
that
said
they were planning to go
that they were
on
planning
holiday
to go
but
on
that
holiday,
nothing had been
but that
settled yet,
nothing has been settled
they
yet,
would mean that they
they
had
would mean that
not
they
made
have not made
any final decision yet.
any final decision yet.
Very good. What do we mean by unsettled weather? What do we mean by unsettled weather? By unsettled weather,
By unsettled weather,
we mean weather
we mean weather
that's constantly changing.
that constantly changing.
Very good. Would you say that success in life was partly a question of luck? Would you say that success in life was partly a question of luck? Yes or no? I'd
Yes,
say that
I'd say
success in life
that success in
was
life
partly
was
a
partly
question of luck.
a
Question
question
of luck.
question of luck.
Very good. Okay. Do soldiers have to be extremely brave when they go into battle? Do soldiers have to be extremely brave when they go into battle? Yes.
Yes,
Soldiers have to be
soldiers have to be
extremely brave
extremely brave
when they go into battle.
when they go into battle.
Very good. Okay, next. What does it mean to be tidy? What does it mean to be tidy? To be tidy means
To be tidy
to
means
keep things
to keep
in their
things
proper place.
in their proper
Place.
place.
Very good. Are you a tidy person? Are you a tidy person? Yes or no? I'm a
Yes.
tidy person.
I'm a tidy person.
Very good. Next, is it often difficult for parents to get their children to tidy their rooms? Is it often difficult for parents to get their children to tidy their rooms? Yes, it's
Yes.
often difficult
It's often difficult
to for parents
for
to
parents
get their children
to get their
to
children
tidy their rooms.
to tidy their room.
Very good. Okay, so that's the end of our revision. Let's have new word. Very
Okay.
good. Okay, repeat act,
Mm-hmm. Act,
stage,
stage,
intermediate,
intermediate,
advanced.
advanced.
Very good. Okay, listen. The word act is a verb. For example, I've acted on the stage in the theater. The word stage has two meanings, a theater stage and level. For example, the stage of English studies are beginner, intermediate, and advanced. You're at an intermediate stage of English studies at the moment. Okay, let's practice. Have you ever acted on the stage in the theater? Have you ever acted on the stage in the theater? Yes or no?
No,
I've never acted
I've never acted
on the stage in the
on the
theater.
stage in the theater.
Very good. Would you be afraid to act on the stage? Would you be afraid to act on the stage? Yes or no?
Yes,
I'd be afraid
I'd be
to
afraid
act on the stage.
to act on the
Well,
stage.
at what stage of your English studies are you at the moment? Beginner, intermediate, or advanced? At what stage of your English studies are you at the moment? Beginner, intermediate, or advanced? I am at an
I'm at an
intermediate stage
in intermediate
of
stage
my English studies
of my English
at the
studies
moment.
at the moment.
At what stage of a man's life does his hair begin to drop out? At what stage of a man's life does his hair begin to drop out? A man's hair
A man's hair
can begin to drop
can
out
begin to drop
at
out
any stage in his
at any
life.
stage in his
It
life.
depends on the
It
individual.
depends on the individual.
Very good. Next, repeat stream,
Stream,
upstream,
upstream,
downstream,
downstream,
on fire.
on fire.
Very good. Okay, listen. The word stream is a noun. It is a small river. So a small river is called a stream.
Small
Stream
river.
can also be used as a verb, which means to move in a steady flow. Upstream is an adverb. It means in the direction opposite from the way the water is flowing. For example, if you follow to if you want to follow a river upstream, it will lead you to the mountains. Downstream is the opposite of upstream. For example, if you follow the river downstream, it will lead you to the sea or lake.
See or
On
like.
fire
Oh,
means burning. For example, if I
burning.
saw a stream of people streaming out of a building, I think that either the building was on fire or that the
On
people had
fire.
just finished work. Okay, let's practice. What is a
はい。
stream? What is a stream? A stream
A
is a
stream
small river.
is a small river.
If you follow the river upstream, where would it eventually lead you to? If you followed the river upstream, where would it eventually lead you to? If I followed
If
a
I
river
followed a
upstream,
river
it
upstream,
would eventually
it
lead
eventually
you to the mountains or hills.
lead,
Lead
lead,
you
lead, lead you
to the mountains or
to the
hills.
mountains or hills.
Very good. And if you followed it downstream, where would it eventually lead you to? And if you followed it downstream, where would it eventually lead you to? If you followed it
If you followed it
downstream, it
downstream,
would eventually
it would
lead
eventually
you to the sea,
lead to
lead
the
you to the
sea
sea or lake.
or lake.
If you saw a stream of people streaming out of a building in a hurry, what did you think? If you saw a stream of people streaming out of a building in a hurry, what did you think? If I saw a
If I
stream
saw
of people
a stream of people
streaming out of a building.
streaming up of the
In
building.
a hurry, I'd think
In a hurry,
that
I
either
think
the
that
building
either
was on
the
fire
building was on fire
or that the people
or that the
had
people
just finished work.
has just finished the work.
Very good. Okay, so now let's move on to reading.
O-
Okay, so our reading is at stage 7, paragraph page 509. Last headword was conquer. Okay, please start at page 510. Tide.